Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Money in the Law, my FM 101.3. I'm your host, John Druan, with my co-host and dear friend, Jay Marsden, and we got a full house today. We got a full house
it's
today.
Packed in here.
Of course, we're joined by Tom Harmon from Hollis & Cable Access TV and the immortal Ray Osier from...
Yeah. This alone is worth its weight in gold.
Right?
Christmas come early.
You know
Christmas
what?
come early.
But I think it's because we have guests today. So I'm going to let you introduce our guest today.
Well, first of all...
Hold on. Now you're trying to get out of this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hold on.
The check.
It's coming.
Well,
it's coming.
I'd much rather you do it now before you introduce
you speak? No. We're going to the checks. I'll write the check while you're introducing.
I'll go to write the check. So John's, for those of you who are listening, John's a little nervous today because we have guests here in the studio, and Ray is sort of like, it's like the teacher is in the room, substitute is gone, Ray's back in the room making sure that we're doing all the right things, which we're usually not doing, because Ray knows that we know how to steer the machine, so he just puts us on and runs. But today he wants us to be on our best behavior, so he's here chaperoning, I think is the right word for today's event.
Thank you, Ray.
Yes, Overwatch.
Yeah. Ray, do you need us to cover John's check? Anthology can do that.
Wow. We have a fantastic marketing budget.
Hold on. Anthology is in the house, everybody. Throwing some money
Wait. Are there other people in here?
I don't think there needs to be. I don't think there needs to be. I think we just raised our game here. So who are these other people? Everybody wants to know who our guests are. So our guests today are the wonderful folks from Anthology of Boston, which is a senior living community new to our area that is working on two tremendous, and I believe the word stunning is what I hear all the time, two locations in Natick and Millis. And we have invited them in today to talk about the whole senior living community, the whole concept of senior living, the ways that John and I have talked about on the show that we think that other folks should think about it. So we figured we bring in the pros, and we're going to let them talk all about their program, talk all about their facility, talk all about their residents, talk all about their community, and tell us all the things that we and you folks need to know about just the idea of considering senior living as an option.
Right. So can you guys introduce yourselves?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay and John. We're so excited to be here. We're Anthology of Boston collectively. I'm Susan Moore at the Natick community.
Don't be afraid to lean into the mic. Lean in like we're in a bit.
And I'm Andrea Quinn with Millis.
Fantastic. All right. So tell us about Anthology from a concept perspective. What's their philosophy? What makes you guys so unique? What makes you guys so special? Tell us all about you guys.
So we are a young and vibrant community. We're headquartered, our holding company is CA Ventures. We started as a campus housing community, and 9 years ago the concept of senior housing was introduced. So Anthology Senior Living was born out in Denver, Colorado. So that's our parent company. And we have partnered as a joint venture for our properties here in Boston with Harrison Street out of Chicago. And they have invested with us because we share the same philosophy: choose the right community in the right location with perfect demographics for your concept, and empower and hire the correct operators and workers to make a successful community. And we are so excited. We're in the process of building our two communities pretty much at the same time right now.
We're pretty much neck and neck. They're looking really good and hoping to open our communities at the end of January, early February.
Yes, and Anthology's core philosophy is to take care of the individual moving into our community and have them empowered to live their best life, their new chapter, the best way possible, the way they choose. And we offer so many options within the Anthology community.
So before the show started, we were out in the lobby, in the green room, I think we call it, right? In the green room,
that's what you call it.
Talking about one of the concerns that we see, or one of the issues that we see on the legal side, and you may echo these sentiments, which is I find that people just wait too long, right? Mm-hmm. They don't even just do the exploration. They don't do their homework. They don't research their options. So they don't make the decision until literally, we talked about the house burning, right? And then they figure out what their options are. So tell us what you guys see in that space, and tell us if you can say I'm right if you want. We like to hear that. But if I'm wrong, tell me. But give us a sense of how that works for you guys.
It happens.
So, Andrea, I'll let you
often.
tackle that.
Oh, well, it's funny. I think that I think what we discussed earlier is that there really is almost this false narrative when it comes to senior living. And it's, oh my God, you're going to go to one of these communities, you're going to lose all your independence, and you're just going to spend your life in your apartment. And that is totally not Anthology's way and what we want to see. We really are truly there to support your independence. We want this to make these golden years to be all about you. And really, this is your home. You are in on every decision that we make. We're very resident-centered in our approach to senior living. So, I think that's a big aspect of, why people wait so long. They just don't want to make that move. It's hard changing that chapter, closing that chapter in that book and starting a new life process. It's scary for everyone when we make changes. It really is. So these are huge changes. And our thing is we're there to take all that stress and worry off of you and really just give you a wonderful life. And your job is to wake up every morning and decide what fun activities or what you want to partake in. That's really what it's all about.
Jay, in case you didn't know, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
It's A Wonderful Life. That's a Christmas movie. I don't know if you're familiar with that, Jay. Jay, sometimes there's a little bit of a friction about the holiday.
I have an aversion to
version.
Over the top.
He's coming around.
10 years. Scrooge.
10 years I've been working on it. 10 years I've been working. Can I just have one question? So when you were doing your introduction, one of the things that I wrote down here was that this came from it originated from college housing. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah. So talk about. Let's get it started early, right?
Yep.
Like
First of all, talk about coming full circle.
Yep.
Full circle.
Yep. I'm a fifth-year senior, and you know what? I might as well just stay. I'm just going to stay right here.
You can slide right into our senior housing.
That's not waiting. That's not waiting too late, right? That's
listening?
getting a jump on
Exactly.
Come on. You can imagine. Remember back in the day, wandering up and down the hallway, seeing whose door is open,
But
which turns into.
you're limited by your own
come on,
imagination.
right?
So is that the model? Is that does it feel like I'm in a
It
college
does.
dorm?
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Wait a
And
minute.
it is so fun,
this is-
especially for those loved ones who may have lost a spouse recently, aren't connected, maybe they're at home still, and it's just
It really is
just
about
sad.
the socialization.
Yeah. Socialization.
Honestly, that's what we hear more than anything. Maybe they have housekeepers, maybe they have people coming to do laundry, their kids are grocery shopping. But ultimately, they're alone and they just want to be around other people, whether it's going to the dining rooms and just having a meal with someone. Like we forget how, it's a little awkward to be eaten by yourself in front of the TV every night. So now you have that opportunity.
Yes, and Anthology has created some beautiful space right here in Boston. Our architects are the architectural team out of the Charles Navy Yard, and they have created some gorgeous space. And as soon as we're open to tour, we would love to show you around. We have beautiful amenities. So it's almost like boutique living is our niche.
Yes.
But we're in markets that are not Boston pricing.
I think you hit a nerve over here.
Yeah. Well, no. That's kind of like that's upperclassman housing. Is what I'm thinking. I'm stuck on the college thing.
Well, you don't get great housing freshman year.
No,
but by
that's what I mean.
junior,
That's
and
what
at
I'm
this
saying.
point,
It's
you
upperclassmen.
are a senior. Let's all agree how you want to define
it's
it.
senior living,
Right?
Yep.
So you're in
define
senior
it.
housing.
Yeah.
Senior housing in college was always the better housing. So this could be this could be worthy of it.
I don't know if I do like that idea. I guess the thing that and you mentioned that a second ago is like people they want that socialization, but that's not always it's not what they ask for, right? It's not
Correct.
what they don't kind of reach for it. Like some people do. Some people are like they're outgoing, like I want to make friends. What's your favorite color? Those kind of people. But especially if you're older, especially if you've been living, like you said, if you're living with somebody and they unfortunately they pass away, so you're used to kind of spending all your time with one or small number of people. This I like the idea, or I'm envisioning the idea that it's kind of like it's not like kind of forced fun, but at the same time it's kind of like it's really it's invitational. Like, hey, why don't let's go do this, and if you can talk about that, like kind of how you guys
so they can
how that works.
So I think what you're saying is residents can kind of control their immersion, right?
Yes.
How involved do they want to be? You're a joiner. You're a kind of joiner. Talk
You didn't
a little bit
know
about
you were
that.
a joiner,
That's
but
right.
now
That's right.
you
That's
are.
right. You
And
found it out. Yeah.
That's the biggest part of our success is hearing, oh, mom and dad, they are not social. They wouldn't really benefit. Okay, well, just try it out. Let's see. And that's the biggest joy is seeing our residents thrive. And Anthology is all about aspirational living. They want you to wake up every morning just to feel empowered to choose whatever you want to do. Your time is always your own, but you have options. And down from top down, from bottom up, from the executive chef to the executive director, they all support what's good for that individual resident's specific needs. So to have your company and your management team support you, how your goals work with these residents, it's almost like a Disneyland. You know, it is.
Nice.
It's,
Okay. I'll take that. I like
pretty
Disneyland.
fun.
Happiest place on earth. Who doesn't love Disneyland?
I mean, nobody. There's nobody that doesn't.
Even I like it. Even I like it.
Even you, Patty Polynesian. Yeah.
All right, so we're doing a break, quick break?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We're going to come back. We have a couple more questions for these guys. I want them to talk about something that we also talked about in the green room before the show started. And we'll be back. Money and Law, My FM, 101.3. Jay Marsden with the Marsden Law Group. John Drohan, Main for Financial. And our special guests today, the folks from Anthology. We'll be back in 2 seconds.
More, I'll do those.
And we're back. My FM,
He's never gonna
101.3. Jay Marsden with the Marsden Law Group. John Drohan, Main for Financial. Tom steering us from a different dashboard today, getting us through, including and incorporating our friends from Anthology who are here telling us about their new senior living option here locally in Natick and Millis. And we're talking about get in line. It's campus housing for you kids who haven't been on a campus in quite some time. So let's make sure we look at it.
For all the Holliston viewers out there, I mean, Millis is right around the corner.
Yes,
that's right. It's like,
absolutely.
it's right over there.
It's a 5-iron. It's
yep,
not far.
Oh, no.
It's not far. It's definitely, it's like a 9-iron.
For Tom. Tommy's wedging
right
it.
there.
Yeah. Tommy's,
Golf extraordinaire. So, quick question. So, we talk with clients all the time about this idea of a respite stay because people, for all the reasons that we've talked about so far, have a real aversion to just trying it, right? So talk to folks about what this idea, when you guys are up and running and the doors are open, what for people who are trying to find out what the best way to explore this option is, kind of run them through some of their options and include that idea of a respite stay.
Sure. Well, the biggest fear is giving up their home if a loved one is still at home. So, you know, you can prepare to put the house on the market, but not really put it on the market until they make the final decision to move into their next chapter. So at both Millis and Natick, we have respite apartments. They're fully furnished. They're beautiful, like model type furniture, everything you need to move in and live graciously. You can try that for 30 or 60 days.
Whoa.
And
Can we just pause for a second? I'm sorry.
you have to be 62.
I'm going to pause for just a second. You don't have to look at the camera. Talk to these, because when you look at
Okay.
the camera, you're off the mic. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? Why is this happening now? This should have been happening pre-production.
It should if you were on time.
You know what? You were sitting out there. I'll talk to you later.
If you were on time.
I didn't mean to interrupt. You got your check. All right, it was very. that was the whole thing when we
You make
started.
this editing even
For those of you who started the show, you were like all. I mean, you didn't think I had my checkbook.
Once the check is
It was
whole
right
demeanor
there.
changed.
Yeah, right.
You went to full on,
Right, you
like-
got it.
Just pretend that's not here.
Yeah.
So back to the respite stay.
Back to the respite stay.
I'm going to look at you when I talk
of course,
from here on out.
Andrea and I have worked at different communities. Anthology is new to Massachusetts, and our experience at our other communities was that you invite mom or dad in for a little respite stay, and they never move out.
Yep, they are there
So
to stay.
they
Absolutely.
become so engaged, and then it is easy to put the house on the market while they're under our roof and get all that tidied up very easily, pick and choose what they want to bring, have our staging specialists help right size, and then they can pick out their apartment because the respite ones are fully furnished and just a short-term
We actually in
stay.
Millis already have someone reserving the respite room for when we open.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're ready to try it out. They have a significant other that's going to be in our memory care unit, and they're not sure how they feel. So we said, absolutely, just try the respite room. I guarantee it's going to be everything and then what you think it is.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So think about this, right? This is everyone's number one fear. I mean, we hear this. I mean, on the legal side, we hear this all the time. I'm terrified of closing a door. I'm just worried. What if I don't like it and now I'm homeless? That's what everybody's concern is, right? So if you're given the ability to say, look, it's a 30-day, 60-day, basically stay at a super high-end resort, right? And then you get to say, you know what, is this a fit for me? Is this a fit for me? And what happens is, just exactly what you guys laid out, what we hear is mom or dad make a friend, they make two friends, they join a group, they join
They
Couple
join
of groups.
a card game.
And can we talk about the food?
Yeah,
They love the food.
And
That's
you never
right.
have
Yeah.
to cook again. I mean, does it get any better than that?
Yep. So that, and again, just try it. What's
Exactly.
the worst
no
that
pressure.
happens?
It
right?
takes all the pressure off of
Day
mom or dad.
59, you say, you know what? Had a good run. This was a nice try, but it's not for me.
Day
Yep.
59. Right. You're staying. You're getting. You're staying for the full stay, right?
oh,
you never know,
absolutely,
right? You never know.
absolutely.
Well-
I may change my mind. Yeah, I got 1 week
It's
left.
not
I might
day
as well-
2. It's never day 2.
Yeah. What's for dinner tonight? Yeah.
Here's a cute story. I had a respite stay with a couple once. The kids were having them have a tough time making the decision. They moved in for the respite, and day 1, we're beaming. They said, "Oh my gosh, it feels like we're going on a date." And they got their shower. They could shower because their home had tubs that they couldn't get in or out of, and they have never been happier. And I love seeing the joy on the family's face. Like, thank you, thank you. You know, a lot of times families are from out of the area and they need to make a quick decision, and we're basically there, you know, to offer our support during the senior housing discovery process to find out what the right fit is. So
Now you mentioned family. So if somebody wants to bring family in, right? So you say, look, they have their own, obviously their own apartment, they're independent living. If they want to bring family together, what are their options around something like that? You know, we just through the holidays. You want to put a lot of people together. They want to show off their new home.
Hold on. Can we go back to this? I have one more question about this whole respite thing. Yeah, I mean,
John's going to come stay at one of our
John
old
has
do
a
you have
second
to
check
be?
in his hand.
I like-
John has a second check.
you have to be 62.
I mean, I like where you're going. Well, okay, so 62. So yeah, so that's a long ways away.
What if he just looks 62?
Oh, no, right? Yeah. I don't know.
Yep, you just look it.
Right. I'll need another fake ID. Finally.
How about this? Again, we're coming
Laugh
full
now,
circle.
right?
We're coming
Laugh
full
now.
circle.
Yep.
You were on campus trying to get a fake ID to make you
Now
look
I need a
21.
fake ID
now you're
again.
on campus getting a fake ID to make you look 62.
I know.
Well, hey,
no,
John,
that's me. That's me.
I have an option for you.
Oh, boy.
So, some of our seniors are getting a 2-bedroom suite for their family to come visit. So you can come visit at any age,
Right.
at any time.
And stay for my 60-day respite.
Going to clear that. I think
You can stay for-
Haley may have something to say about that.
I feel like the respite. I feel like that whole thing. I feel like that is like the closest thing to stealing candy from a baby than
my God.
anything. Right?
Yes.
Oh, here it'd be like me taking my kids. Do you like Disney? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to live here for a long time? Wait, is this work? Do you like the rides? You like the passes and everything? Yeah, you like that?
Do you want to stay for 2 months?
Yeah,
We've been here a
we
week.
could
Do you want to
stay.
stay for 2 months?
Do you guys
All right.
want to live here? Yeah.
You know?
Now we have a new spin on marketing for
I was
respite.
just going to say.
These are all freebies. These are all pearls. Yep.
So what's going to happen is we're going to show up when everything's built up. We're going to show up, and there's going to be a couch in the quad. There's going to be speakers in somebody's window.
Yeah.
There's going to be an ultimate frisbee game going on.
Right.
It's going to be unbelievable.
Right.
It's going to be
Yeah.
I
unbelievable.
did forget to mention, yes, it is a beautiful place for family to visit, and both
Yes,
communities
yes.
have
Family
family
suites.
rooms, suites that you can reserve. You don't have to rent them. You don't have to pay an hourly fee. You just reserve them. They have full kitchens, big screen
Full
TV,
tables,
balconies,
living area.
So
It
this
doesn't
that
get
was
better.
answering your question, right?
Yeah.
You were asking
Yeah.
that, like, kind of what are my options if I want to come and visit and spend some
So,
time.
so residents don't have to give up entertaining. So even
Great point.
though there
Yep.
may be, kitchenette, there's no stoves, but we provide all your meals. You can actually still have family gatherings, and you have that option. So,
And
you
so
can
if that
still
was a
host them.
reservation, I don't want to give up my house because I give up all this space and I can't have
because
people
I can't
over for
entertain
birthdays.
my
and, yep.
family anymore. You can absolutely celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, whatever it is you want, college graduations.
Yep.
You know.
All right. Fantastic.
Yeah, and our,
That's
our
still an option.
communities are family friendly, so the
Very much
grandkids
so.
can come in and use our shuffleboard table.
Exactly. They
and
can watch a movie in our movie theater with
Oh, wow, okay.
grandparents.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff to do.
It's fun. Like, we want to move in.
Very
I know.
inclusive.
I have to say, I'm sure that more grandkids will want to spend time with grandma and grandpa because of the cool place they live in.
That's a great point, right? If you bring the grandkids in, that makes it work, right?
Yeah,
That's a-
there's your sale right there.
Yeah. Any big differences between the two facilities that you want to? Are they designed differently? Is there something that Native
Yes.
brings to the table that Millis does? Like
Yeah,
what? Okay.
slightly different. So at Millis, we have independent living cottages. So we have 14 cottages that surround our main building. So we have 65 assisted living apartments and 26 memory care studio apartments as well. So we provide what I like to say, they're beautiful. They're 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths, living room, full kitchen, garage. They look like little townhouses.
Okay.
So, I mean, you still have that option of really being independent. But you can come into our independent living dining room. You have meals provided to biweekly housekeeping and linen service. So you have all the great perks, but it's almost like that one transition into assisted living or in the building. I will say this, though. We do have a lot of people that are reserving rooms now that are really independent, and they just want to be in the assisted living portion because they just want to be in the building, where all the fun is.
All the action is, yep.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want
Well,
to be?
and where all the care is. So under our
Yeah.
both roofs, even though it's assisted living, we have independent pricing.
Yeah.
So there's no care given, but you can stay in place to age in place when you need the services, but you have the care team with you 24/7 that independent living doesn't offer. So, and you get the 3 full meals, snacks, cafe,
Everything.
drinks,
all
whatever
your
you
utilities are included. All you really have is one bill, except for your phone bill. That would be your only other bill. So it is really sweet. No worries about, oh my God, I got to pay this. Oh my God, oil prices are going up. Grocery prices are going up. It's like an all-inclusive resort.
Sure. Yep.
And it's safe. That
And it is
everything's
safe.
handicap
Absolutely.
accessible. There's grab bars everywhere. It's wheelchair friendly for the future, and there are no stairs.
Oh,
Yes,
well, there you go.
exactly.
There you go. Nice.
Wow.
All right.
And one more blurb: we are pet friendly.
We are pet friendly. We do have some dogs joining us in Millis,
nice.
so we're
Okay.
super excited.
Yeah.
So this
Great.
is in the main building. You're allowed. Oh wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You do have to be able to care for them.
Yes.
Sure.
So-
Yeah. Okay.
But
Just let it out.
Let's go over the door.
Go get him. Yeah. Go get him, Dino. Yeah.
yeah, and you know what? For our listeners today, the biggest takeaway Andrea and I want to leave you with is please consider us as a resource. This is a huge decision process to consider senior living. We're here to provide information along the way and to see if we're the right fit for you. And we want to help with that. And we've partnered with Jay also, for lunch and learn programs and seminars. We're having one December 14th at 12 to 2 p.m. at Morse Tavern in Natick. Jay will be there to talk to children and, potential clients about how to use the best tools in the real estate estate planning toolbox, and to just be there as a resource for those folks who have not even thought about the future for their loved one or themselves.
And if people want to find you guys, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys, more importantly?
So just go to anthologyboston.com. You'll find Millis and Natick website.
And our phone numbers are
And our
on
phone
there.
numbers are on
And you
there.
can always reach out with any questions to Susan and myself. We're happy to answer any questions you may have and, kind of take you along this journey and, do your due diligence in your homework. And I think that's the best way to find the best fit for you.
Sure. Yeah. Fantastic. Great.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the opportunity. This was
I
so
know,
much
this
fun.
was fun.
We have a few little goodies for you.
Yes.
I heard there's
And,
some wine.
We did
here
not
that
come
might be
empty-handed.
involved.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
Break that open
sure.
right now.
It's early, but yeah.
And the
It is
Anthology
Wednesday.
pens are the best pens ever.
All right. Tchotchkes. We love us,
Yeah.
tchotchkes. We love us some tchotchkes.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you. Fantastic for coming in. I appreciate you guys taking the time. We look forward to seeing you guys at your events.
Absolutely.
AnthologyBoston.com. If you need to find these guys, come looking for them. Pay them a visit. Check it out. Do some homework and figure out what's a good fit for you. Guys, thank you so much for
Thank
coming in.
you.
Have a great week
All right.
and have a great holiday.
Take
All right,
care.
we're going
All
to
right,
take a
take
quick
care.
break. We'll be right back on My FM 101.3 Money in the Law.
Okay.
Don't
be
go
back.
anywhere. We'll be right back.
We have a gift for you.
And we're back. My FM 101.3. Jay Marsden with the Marsden Law Group. John Drohan, Main Effort Financial, here at the global headquarters. My FM 101.3.
Look who's still here.
And look who's still here. Ray's still hanging in with
Yeah.
us. Huh? Look at this. Huh? So what'd you think? I think it was great to have those folks in and give us a sense of what the senior market looks like and some new offerings for people who are trying to figure it out.
Well, I think it's important, and as you know very well, because that is that's you're right neck deep in all that. The whole assisted living, that assisted living market has like exploded, especially in our area. Probably in the last 10 years, maybe even longer. In that people are living longer. People are just they're by the grace of God, medicine and everything's kind of enabling people to live longer, and you get to that point where it's almost like that in between point. You're like, mom and dad, they really can't take care of themselves in their house, like in their old house.
Yeah, they need some help.
You know,
they need some help.
They need help, or they just need they need to be closer to something, right? And you know, that socialization, not only is it good for, you know, like your mind and, you know, kind of keeps you going, you know, to be social, but from a safety standpoint as well. You know, just like, you know, if you know, like my mother lives in a house, like she lives in the woods, you know, so for somebody like that, you know, at some point, it's hard to kind of be able to, you know, you just worry that if something happens, you know, how is she going to get help? How is, you know, is someone to be there to be helped? So the safety aspect is a big thing. But at the same time, you know, and I think a lot of these places are getting it, right? They're like, hey, we get that this is a big change, and we get that you giving up your independence is a big deal, and it is a big deal.
Yes.
And you know, your clients, like you guys, you see this every single day. It's like, hey, Mom, it's time. I don't think you can drive anymore. Like it, or these life changes that people, they just, you know, you just age into. That, like the big move, like that, like selling the house that you raised your family in, that could be a huge deal. Or even if you don't sell, just moving out of it is a huge deal.
And I think, you know, I know you guys do this all the time. When you do planning with folks, you're like, look, there's plan A, there's plan B, and there's plan C, right? And we get a plan to you live into 110, and these are all the things that we got to think about. And I think for people who want to take control, right? And we've seen this, and the reason that, you know, our conversations with Anthology over the past couple of weeks have gone on and on is because we get inundated with these situations where we have people who come in who did the planning, right? X numbers of years ago, they did something, right? They thought about it. They put a house in an irrevocable trust. They protected some money. They put the kids on the deed. They did something, right? So then when things start to kind of fall apart, they're a little in front of it, right? And it's not an emergency, and I can those people.
It's not surprise. It's not like, oh my God, what do we do? You know, it's like,
I can tell you when those people come in and we sit down and we say, so what's going on? Well, my mother's at an assisted living facility, my father's at an assisted living facility, and it's going really well. But we're starting to think about the move after this. But it's not done in a way that's like, oh my God, everything is falling apart. It's a real sort of deliberative discussion around what happens after this. And so all we try to say to people is, when there is no issue, when everything is fine, just look at something like this. I'm not saying you got to do it. I'm not saying you have to commit to it. They're even saying to you, guys, commit and here are our options just for trying it out, right? And I think that if you take the time to do it when there's no urgency, you come at it in a much more clear-headed way, right? And the decision is potentially a team decision to say, you know what? We all sat down as a family and we figured it out. And you know what? This isn't working anymore. You know, or it's becoming real work, and we want to know what our options are. And the options are not just stay in the house until we carry you out of here feet first, right? That's not always the option. There are, and I think that you know, I guess I would say, do yourself and do your family the favor of just checking out some options, and you'll find that these, you know, there's going to be places you're going to go to. You're going to say, "Get me out of here." Put me back in the car and get me out of here. Or you're going to see a place that really kind of catches you and you make a connection with and it fits in. And then they come to you guys and they say, all right, John, can we build this into our plan? Right? Does something like this work for us?
Yeah, I do like that option. I do like that capability to be able to, you know, give it a test run and see what it feels like, see if it fits, right? And you know, and of course it's going to be top notch, right? I mean, of course it's going, you know, and that's, you know, their job. Their job is kind of put their best foot forward, and you know, we're not serving you the old, you know, the 3-day-old halibut. You know, you're not getting the halibut stew, right?
That's right. That's right.
So you know, so of course it's going to be top notch, but again, you know, at the same time, it's still going to be a huge change, right?
Yes.
So I think the key to any of these places is the true sensitivity of that, and
acknowledge it, right? And they'll tell you to acknowledge it. This is a big change.
Yeah,
this is a huge change.
Yeah,
understood.
And the whole idea of socialization, you know, because I just kind of, you know, if I kind of put myself in that position, am I going to be the, you know, if I, you know, when I'm that age, and if I'm ever in that situation where, you know, maybe I won't want to socialize with people, maybe I won't, maybe I'm just not up for it, I'm not in the mood for, you know, so kind of like that's, you know, that everybody's going to be kind of an individual, like kind of case by case thing, but at the same time, it's like there's that, like, hey, you know what, if you're interested, if you would like to, why don't you come and do this? And maybe it's kind of like the kind of gentle nudging that's like gets people, to the point. Because on the other side of that coin is, if you don't socialize, you're just going to get old. Like, you're going to get older than you are.
We've talked on this show about using your vacation as like a test run for your retirement, right? So let's all think back about how much fun it was to be locked into your house during COVID, right? I mean, talk about lack of socialization.
Yeah, COVID
right?
was a good kind of eye opener for all of these people that that could see themselves in that situation, right?
And like I said, and we cannot advocate enough for just giving it a try, because we're sensitive to all the reasons that people don't want to do it. I said to my wife this morning, I said, look, I hate being told what to do. Absolutely hate being told what to do. Ask my wife, you want to get to Jay to do something? Tell him to do the opposite. Because if you tell him what to do,
yeah.
That's right, because he hates me. And I'm thinking to myself, at some point, my kids could come to me and say, hey, Dad, you had a great run. This Key West thing isn't working out anymore. You're too far away. You're getting in too much trouble down here. It's time to go. Let's go. We're going back to the mainland.
Where's your shirt? Let's go. Come on.
Put some shoes on. Let's get out of here, right? So that's going to be a real thing. And so what I would like to have done at that point is to have figured out my options and say, look, I hope that I can continue on this path, but if I can't continue on this path and I have to jump onto another path, what do I like?
Yeah.
What have I seen? I've done my homework, and I've thought about it in advance, and then can I afford it, right? Talk to your financial advisor and say, well, we think that, now again, we're giving up all these other expenses. Can we afford it? That's it.
Yeah, and like we said, the first thing is, do I want to do it, right?
Yep.
Do I want to do it? That's the first yes or no, kind of in this this.
Do I want to explore it? Do I want to consider it?
Yep. And then I look at the numbers, right? And I say, so can I afford it? And like you said, there's going to be a big transition, so there's going to be some costs that are going to go away. There's going to be the cost of the actual, the situation, then all of the, kind of the other like subsequent costs that, and as they said, there's not a whole lot of other costs that people are going to incur, if they're in these assisted living places. Kind of like pay one price, and then maybe a couple other ancillary bills that you have. But other than that, you kind of know what you're in for. You kind of know what it's going to cost. So the cost piece, that seems like a relatively easy, yes or no, I can afford it, or I can't afford it, and that also kind of drives kind of what kind of an assisted living place you're going to look at. I mean, location is going to be one, but then it's going to be like, okay, because there's different levels, right? I mean, I'm sure there's some that are like, that you can pay as much as you want to.
Well, you bring up a great point, which is if you're doing some homework when you don't need to do your homework, you're getting in front of this, then you might say to yourself, you know what? Look, there's a bunch of people that, like you and I, live in a house, and you got a lawn to take care of, and you got some outside stuff that got to have. So, but there's other people.
Call it a lawn.
But there's other people who have given that up and said, "Look, I don't want that. I'm moving." People move to an over 55 community, for example, for a reason, right? They don't want the maintenance, they don't want the upkeep. Someone is going to look at this option, and they're going to say, "You know what? Not only do I not want the maintenance and the upkeep, I don't want to do anything. Like, I really want this like all inclusive. That's right. This really appeals to me." And then what you want to find out is, but I really like this one, and this one is how much money? Okay, can I afford it? Did I do the planning, right? Did I sit down with John and build an income plan that built this into the plan? Or am I trying to back into it at the last minute, and now, well, I like the concept, but now I don't like where I am. I don't like my location. I don't like my this. I don't like my that.
It's all about location, right? It's the first thing you look at, right? Location.
So I think that's part of this whole process of making sure that you do some homework. I mean, we see it on the planning side, on the elder law side, all the time, right? And it's the lack of any pre-planning that just blows a lot of people's things up.
Yeah. I mean, well, one of the things that we talked about on this program plenty of times is long-term care insurance. And, of course, long-term care insurance you can't use that for assisted living, right?
No, you can.
I'm kidding. It was a trick question. You got it right. Wait
a minute. I'm like, did I miss it? Did I miss a press release? Did something happen? Did I miss a press release?
You're recovering from your Dublin whooping cough that you brought back.
My scarlet fever in Ireland? Good Lord. Yeah. So
is it scurvy? I mean, did you not drink any orange juice on the boat ride back?
Have another lime in my Corona, please, for crying out loud. That's a great point, right? I mean, we've talked about the different types of long-term care insurance policies, and we've talked about the hybrid policies. And if this is even remotely on your radar screen, then you get in front of it. Think
Yeah,
about
we're
it now.
We're not selling it, but
No.
it's one of those things where, like you said, like kind of like my pre-planning. Is this something that makes sense for me? And we've done shows on we've done plenty of shows on long-term care insurance and kind of like the the ways to kind of get into it. It's not something that you just buy like, oh yeah, let's get some, and it's not something you buy like you're at the fast food place with the table.
It's not an impulse purchase at the register.
No.
Understood.
Yeah, you got to think about it because it's expensive, but this is one of the things that I like about long-term care insurance. If it fits, if it fits as part of your plan, is that it enables you to to augment the cost of these assisted living places.
Yeah.
Because that's a big deal, right? That's because like we've talked about before. This is a gradual process. It's like, all right, mom and dad can't live in that, they can't run their house anymore. Maybe we're gonna have someone to come and help them, but then it's like we get to it's just too much work and it's too big and it's too far away or whatever the reason is.
Well, at some point in that situation, what you end up doing is you're trying to create an assisted living facility in mom and dad's house, right? And it's just you're trying to a la carte this thing, and you got aides that don't show up or that do show up or that mom and dad don't get along with or don't do the job. Sometimes
or you're
it
doing
works.
a lot. You as the children are doing a lot
you
of
get
the
a
work.
GC this thing, and you got to figure out how the whole thing's working, and sometimes it's just not working. And so these guys are saying, well, look, we took that concept and we just built a community around it.
Yeah.
Why don't you just come here? It's easier, right?
Yeah.
So it's and the long-term care piece, to your point, again, you can look at long-term care and say, I don't know if I'll ever do that. I don't know if I'll ever go to a community like that, but I would like the long-term care insurance, and it covers you being home, if that's what the ultimate decision is, or it's going to help you transition over to this type of arrangement, or to this type of setting. And to your point, what better way to spend it?
Well, that's what it's for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's there for, because again, it costs. It costs money to live, right?
Yes, it do.
So wherever you live, whatever you're doing, whether you're 20 years old or whether you're 90 years old, it costs money to live, right? So whatever your costs are. Now, if you find yourself and you're in one of these assisted living situations, or you need help, or you're paying to help you to do the things you need to do, or you're in a nursing home, that's what the long-term care insurance is designed for, just that.
Yep.
So it's not designed to pay for it all. It's designed to kind of augment the.
Not designed to pay for a nursing home.
Yeah,
Medicaid
no.
will take care of that. We'll handle that later. That's not a big deal. We'll wave that wand.
But it's not. It's designed to kind of to help the cost of living, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, oftentimes as you get older, especially if you go into a situation like an assisted living place, it may cost more than you're used to, right? It may cost you more because that's what it is. It's the cost of doing business.
Right. Well, and our goal is always, we tell everybody, we're trying to keep our clients in the most independent setting possible, right? And that last part is the important part, the most independent setting possible. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's not going to be at home, or it's going to be at home until there's a problem, right? And then when there's a problem, now we're going to figure out what the next move is. And if we've already explored this as an option, then you get to sit down and say, you know what, we talked about this. We talked about that this might be out there. I think it's probably time. And because you made that decision when there was no urgency to make it, then I think it's hopefully a little easier to make that transition. You've kind of talked about it, and here we are.
Yeah, and the idea of having like the different levels of kind of care at these places, that makes a difference as well, because again, we talked about the big move. It's a big move. You don't want to have to make a big move like every couple of years, right? You don't want to you don't want to in a short period of time. So the fact that in these places they get it, right? They're like, look, we'd like to, we want, these are our customers. We want our customers to remain with us as long as
they see them as these are our community residents, right? They want continuity in the community, right? You want to make a friend in the community. You want to make some connections. You want to be able to,
depends who shows up, though. Right?
You want to have some camaraderie, but you don't want to be reinventing that every 2 years. They don't want turnover. They want there to be, stability in the community so that the residents have a better experience, and that's really what a lot of these places are striving for. Some of them just are better at it than others.
I mean, as I think about it, right? As I and again, just kind of when we're talking, you start to get ideas like how can we, the idea of how it was like, built like a college dorm, that was actually kind of funny. But then I'm thinking, all right, if I really wanted to build like a really cool assisted living place that's going to attract like, the people. why wouldn't I have some form of a casino in that right? Why like I mean, you put some slot machines, right? You have all you need is like 10. I mean, people be lined up behind.
They might
those,
have
like,
casino nights.
Jay,
I don't know. They
Jay,
might
are you
have
done? Right?
Yeah,
You
casino
done?
nights,
Yeah.
yeah, they might have
This
casino
is
nights.
Jay's poker table. Yeah,
A lot of them have pubs. A lot of them have pubs.
Right,
And
of
I've been
course
to-
they
I've been-
do.
I've been to a
Restaurants,
ton of them.
yeah.
They have restaurant. I mean, they have the restaurant.
Yeah.
But then they have the actual legitimate pub. Like
Yep.
you sit down, you want to watch World Cup, you want to
Yeah.
watch a Patriots game. Gather around, belly up to the bar with
Right.
all your
all you can eat wings.
Yep. And guess what? You're
Not
not
for you,
doing?
Dave. No. Dave, you remember what the doc said, right? No sour cream on that, right?
And you-
Even better, right?
Even better. You're not driving home. Even better.
They're not driving. I mean, well, some of these places I think have golf carts, but I think they're limited. I think
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
depends on the
You got to
facility.
sign those out,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You got
But a lot of these places, like I said, a lot of these places are they are designed with the residents in mind,
Yeah.
and it's not just. I mean, some of them have a lot going on, and some of them again they have a very independent aspect to these. And I've been to these places where they're showing you the tour, and you're walking around, and as you're walking around looking at the tour, somebody rolls by you with the golf bag over the shoulder, and they're heading out to play
Yeah.
18.
Yep.
And then we'll see you guys later. Grab a sandwich, a couple of
See
things
you
on the
later,
way out
Jay,
the door,
yeah.
and back they go. I mean, it's their home. They're treating it like
not
their
too
home.
shabby. Yeah.
And some of these cottages that the play you talked earlier about some of the cottages, Andrea mentioned those. I mean, those become usually the most in demand. Like when the gun goes off.
Yeah.
It's like the old what was the old Montana land rush?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah, the
lined
gold
up
rush.
on their
Yeah, let's
horse,
go.
waiting for the gun to go off.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Go
put
get
your-
your, put your stake in the
put your
ground.
flag in the ground. Yeah.
Yep. That's what a lot of this turns into. It just turns into, and that's what those things become very, very popular. So, it's all part of the care continuum, right? Like we want everybody to be home. We want them to have their independence. We want them to do the things that they can do. But our health doesn't care what we want.
No.
And whether you've neglected it or whether you just have chronic issues that there's just nothing you can do, you just got to look at the options. And I think the message today is do it now. Do it when it's not an issue.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine that a lot of these places, and I'm almost certain that the anthology, that when that actually opens up, it's going to be a hot commodity because and which is why there has been a boom in the industry because everybody wants, a lot of people want to do this, right?
Well, and to your point, people are living longer. They have better quality of life when they're living longer. This is really about. How do I make the best of whatever time I'm working off?
Yeah,
right?
so I imagine on the one hand, you're like, okay, yeah, this place looks great. I'm not ready for it yet, but maybe someday, right?
But I know it's out there.
But you know it's out there, right? So like when you start thinking about like if you think you're getting a little bit closer, but what that timeline looks like could be up in the air. It's probably good to look at several of them because, for the same thing, like, like you're buying a car, like, oh, this car may not be here, by the time I'm ready to get a new car, and Tom, in your case, when you're buying a new driver, because you get one probably every 6 to 12 months, right? And you just because you wear that thing out. So when you're
crushes the head with it.
Yeah. What do you do? Or he breaks it over his knee.
Smashes it over his knee. But, he smashes it over his knee if he gets stuck playing around with me. That's when he finds his frustration level at
he's hitting my driver with his driver.
He says to him, "I need a respite stay. I can't play another hole with Mars, and it's unbelievable." So I think that's the message. I think that's the message. The message. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. It was really good. We got back to we always go to my mother's. Everybody was there. My sister's, her wife wasn't there, so that's we're missing one and her two kids. So other than that, we ate early enough. So my nephew Milo was able to eat. So we had a full house, and
nice.
it was good. And then so every year we do the polar bear plunge into right. So and usually we do it the way we've done it for the last 20 years. It's you go Thanksgiving morning, and when you're young, it's not bad, right? You're like, we're pumped up for it. Now we dread it, right?
Oh, sure.
And when you're 10, although Ellis, my niece Ellis is 9, she broke the record. The rule was you got to be double digits to do it. So my 3 do it. Haley, of course, is like, I will never ever do that. I don't even bring my
That's
baby,
right. That's right.
Yeah. So, but Ellis this year was for the first year she went in, and it was funny. So we didn't get down there till Thanksgiving morning, or Thanksgiving, about 10 or 11 o'clock. And we get there, and everybody's like, I don't know. Look at the weather. Maybe, we're trying to find an excuse not to do it.
Sure.
And we did one year because the weather was just so bad. We just dunked our feet in. And this year we pushed it off to Friday.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Well played.
but it changes it because the way I've always thought about it is like, I got to go in the water. And then when I'm out of the water, like I'm out and all the numbness wears off.
Reward yourself.
I will reward myself.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, Thanksgiving's here. So this year we had to have Thanksgiving and then so then we kind of did the Arlo Guthrie, Alice's restaurant and had
Excellent.
another Thanksgiving dinner.
Yep.
Couldn't
Awesome.
be beat the next day.
Fantastic.
Yeah. How about you?
It was great. I don't know if we talked. Have we talked about Ireland?
We haven't talked about Ireland.
Ireland was great. Ireland was great. Went overseas to see my daughter. She's over in Cork. Great town. If you're ever going to go to Ireland, put Cork on your list.
Yeah, we didn't go to Cork.
What
we
a great
go.
town. It's basically Boston with a whole different vibe. They have this whole downtown shopping area that's kind of like a downtown crossing on steroids, right? Like the stores and the restaurants and the shops and all this other great stuff. And then we bounced around. We did some touristy stuff, which was fantastic. We did the obligatory Blarney Castle visit,
of course,
which was fantastic. And the grounds were stunning. I mean, not just the castle itself, but just walking around the grounds and the history and all that stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she's having the time of her life, so we get to spend a lot of time with her. We stayed at a great hotel right in downtown Cork.
So did you go anywhere else? You go to Dublin or any of that? You flew into Dublin,
Nope,
right?
Flew into Shannon.
Shannon, wow.
Yep, drove from Shannon to Cork. We did a couple of things just outside of Cork, just like touristy things that we went and wanted to do.
That's a good plan.
And then we had dinner with family. My wife's got cousins over there. So we had dinner. They live literally right in Cork Central.
And
we went to
and you've
their
met
house.
these guys before, right?
Kim has met them before.
You have not.
I was the new guy.
God.
So
Yeah.
we sat down. Their house in Cork is across the river from a 41,000 person rugby stadium. So we're sitting on the back deck, and you can see this beautiful stadium that had been just recently built. 41,000 people for a rugby match.
Did you go see a game?
We did not see a game. Nope. And they were telling us that they can sit on their deck and they can listen to the concerts because they had Elton John there. So they would sit in the back deck, glass of wine, listen to Elton John. And just a beautiful, beautiful spot, beautiful house, wonderful, wonderful hosts.
And I hope you put your best foot forward and made a good impression, just so you could be invited back. And I'm sure you did.
Forward.
I'm sure you did. You're like,
Best
thank
foot
you
forward.
so much. Thank you. This is the best.
Do I want to post dinner whiskey? You know what? I'm gonna pass on that. I'm gonna pass a little full from that delicious
Yeah.
meal. I'm gonna pass on that.
I
want to
love
make sure I get
love
invited
your
back.
house.
I
love the
want to
place,
make
yeah.
sure I get invited back.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the whole the driving experience, the other side of the road thing. We're zipping up and down these little tiny roads. I'm thinking to myself, we're going to lose a mirror. We're going to lose a mirror. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's different.
Yep, we made full use of the bus system over there, which is very cool. And just a great vibe. A couple things I noticed. Everybody appears to get dressed.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
No
They
one-
don't mess around, right?
No one's
Yeah.
walking around like they're dressed for the gym that they don't belong to.
Nope.
Right? Everybody gets dressed.
Yeah.
Everybody, and no one's carrying food around. No one's walking around with a 30 bajillion ounce iced coffee.
No.
Do having to do my banking? Where do I put my coffee while I bank them?
It's almost
none
like
of that.
it's weird. Like I can remember being in England and like there's like there's no to go cups of coffee.
Nope.
Like no, here's your coffee. If you want to drink it, and if you want to leave, then go. Right?
Well,
Yeah.
you order your coffee and they say, we'll bring it out for you.
Yeah.
You're like, bring it out for me. And you go sit and they bring you a mug with coffee in it and creamer.
There's no
and
lid
sugar,
on it, right?
and there's no lid. It's like legit.
It's not made of
civilized,
styrofoam?
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. And the other thing was funny was all the kids, not private schools, all the kids in school wear uniforms.
Yeah, they suit up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so this area of Cork has the largest concentration of schools, I think, in Europe. That's what I heard. And so when school break rolled around, it was like a sea of uniformed kids just running up and
Well,
doing their
you
thing.
coming from the Catholic school area that I came from too, you appreciate that.
I
Right?
said to Kim,
you
you know what?
appreciate it.
I might do? I might run for school committee.
Yep.
I think that's a great idea. I think we should institute that locally.
Good
I think we should
luck
put
with
everybody back in uniform.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. So
Good luck.
I don't know how much success I'd have with that, but I thought that'd be
No,
something
you may hit a few bumps along.
that might stir the pot a little bit.
Get some friction.
That might stir the pot a little bit. But great trip. We ended up getting delayed one day. So we get to spend an extra day with my
that's
daughter,
awful.
which is fantastic. That's what everybody said. My heart goes out to you.
Oh,
But so if you're ever looking to go overseas and if Ireland's on your list,
so fast, such a quick trip, right?
Do not be afraid to put Cork on that list because it was a great time. A lot of the bars you go into, not every bar serves food.
Yeah.
So you want to get something to eat? They're like, so, nope, sorry,
Yeah.
no
Hey, you
food
got
here.
some pretzels? Yeah.
Keep on moving. Yeah. Peanuts.
This is called an Irish pub.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Chew your Guinness. Yeah.
That's right. So that was all good. So very good. So that's it, and that was it. Great.
All right.
great
I'm
trip.
glad you're back. Glad you made it back.
Glad to be
Yeah.
back. Glad to be seen.
All right. I think that's it. So,
All right, Ray, any
do
final thoughts?
Do you want to say it?
good.
Yeah.
You said it all.
We said it. We
And
said,
then
and then
some.
yeah. That's how it works. I can't believe we do it all in
We do it all.
47
We do it all.
minutes.
We do it all here. We do it all here.
And I got on camera this week.
Yeah, you
Whoa,
did. Oh,
whoa. Yep,
God,
that's
right?
it.
Showing us up.
That's
Showing
it.
us up. You're a young man. Yep.
I know. He's always. I know.
All right. So we will be back next week.
We will be
We'll
back
be back
next
next week. So everybody, you're in the holiday season. Unfortunately, Jay, you're in the
here we
holiday
are. Yeah,
season.
I know.
Get ready. Come on. Start getting it's amp it up. Like, like
and
it's revving
real
up.
quick before we go, if you're driving around Holliston looking for my office, I just want to let everybody know
There's a new-
it looks a little different.
Yeah, it sure
looks a little
does.
different. It's still in the same location.
Sure does.
Still at 847 Washington Street, but we're sporting a new look.
Yeah.
So
I'd like
feel
to
free to tell us what you think.
I'd like to see some Christmas lights up there.
Never.
Yeah, I'd like to see some.
Never.
All right.
All right.
We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for joining us.
Have a
Tom,
great
we'll
week,
see you
everybody.
next week.
Take
All right,
care.
bye.